Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. We are filming for June 4th. If it's nowhere near June 4th, click up here. This is a link to all the Friday Fishing Reports. We do it most weeks, so I should have something more up to date for you. I say most weeks because I totally missed you guys last week. I am sorry. Now, I missed you not because I was so depressed about the travel restrictions and not because I was so depressed about the ass hat decision that the Fisheries Minister came out with in the middle of last month. It was because I'm in the middle of a move. Big shout out to Joe and Amber. They both come from fishing families. They're helping me with the big reno and the big move. It's going to allow me to do more fishing reports, maybe go back to weekly episodes. That doesn't negate the fact that the travel restrictions and the Chinook fishing is very, very depressing. I'm going to talk about the Chinook stuff because I literally have friends in this industry that have lost their jobs because of this decision, and there's zero scientific data that says this decision will help stocks of concern. Quite the contrary, this decision will probably hurt stocks of concern. And so I want to make it really clear for maybe you guys that aren't tuned in on it of how this government is managing resources like fishing, and quite probably will manage other parts of the fishery in this way. So even if you guys are a lake fisherman, maybe you're a river fisherman, you never saltwater fished at all, tune in for this because it's important and it's something to be very, very concerned about. Now, I know you guys don't tune into the report to be depressed. We're here to talk about fishing. So before I get into that, I have got some really cool stuff for you this week. Taylor's got a good piece in the written version on the Capilano. The fishing has been tough. They've been opening the dam, yo-yoing it all around. It's been very hard to predict, but it should ramp up. Andre's got a cool fly for us that I'm gonna share at the back end, and it is a beach pattern specifically for the Ambleside area, which is a cool fishery that hasn't started yet, but is coming soon, and you might wanna consider putting these flies in your box. Sterling has an interior update. What a beautiful week. We had super hot weather, but it has warmed up some of the lower elevation lakes in the interior. We've heard reports from friends up that way, hashtag Race Lake, but the temperatures have made things interesting. It's in the 1,800 to 2,200 foot realm. Things are getting hot, and so you'll want to shift your strategy. Sterling's got more details down in the links in the description below. Now, I also have a cool book. I talked about Phil's book 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, and I do believe Phil Rowley's lake fishing book is a Bible that if you are a lake fisherman, whether you're beginner, intermediate, or even advanced, is worth picking up. I think it's something we're going to be talking about for the next 10 years. I absolutely love the book, but I've got another cool one. Now, it may be not as general, but it is a really neat piece on biology. Probably not for beginners, more so for the intermediate or advanced river fishermen, and to an extent the lake fishermen, where we really get to geek out on mayflies, stoneflies, caddis, and understand the subspecies. What is it? Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. The different kind of species when it comes to these bugs and how they react differently. And I read it, I called my boys up at the Osprey Fly Club. They got me a copy, I paid my own good money for it, and then I brought it into the store after I read it because I do think it's worth looking at if you want to take that biology knowledge and apply it to your fishing. Now, what else do I have for you guys? I've got some saltwater stuff. Lingcod fishing is still good. We're looking for the first major reports of coho out there, but coho fishing is open for hatchery retention, so that's worth looking at. And I will say that there are a lot of Chinook out there when you can go to the catch and release areas, and it's worth looking at while you're out there scouting for coho. As always, guys, you want to see more reports like this, considering the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into her. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in with me this week. What a week it was. We had scorching weather. I hope you guys made it out to a patio, or even better, made it out into the great outdoors. Cheers to Friday, everybody. We are looking at an interesting one. I'm gonna get the fishing out of the way first, and then we can talk about the politics. But what do you guys wanna do right now? Well, the weather has changed things a bit. Alex has a cool piece on bass fishing. We talked about this, but we're looking at the weather very carefully. As the temperatures increase on our local lakes, a lot of the trout fishing might get more challenging. We did have a good stocking report last week. They stocked a bunch of the local lakes, and you'll want to check that out. I think I've got links down in the description. If not, go to our blog, see what lakes have been stocked, or even better yet, go to Go Fish BC, because that's where the most up-to-date information is. I'll put that here. But there's also carp options. I've been teasing you guys to get out and do carp fishing. This is a good time. It's still not too hot for that, whether you want to try to tackle them on a fly or gear. There's lots of opportunities locally. The rivers are kind of foobar right now. Why? This temperature is going to blow all the major ones out. Squamish is done. Harrison is going to be chocolate. Well, not chocolate, but it turns sort of a very, very heavy blue color, which is a challenge to fish. Fraser will be hard. There will be some sturgeon fishing there, but be careful. There's going to be a lot of snowmelt this week if you are getting out. Just keep your wits about you. And the other one was shark fishing. Now, you guys missed me last week, but Alex had a fun one on dog fishing, and it's kind of something interesting, and it's something that I've done and had a ton of fun with, but it's something we can do in a lot of the areas on the North Shore, as well as even closer to home. But that's bottom fishing, not fly fishing, but gear fishing for dogfish. We call them local sharks. But it's really cool, definitely fun. If you guys want to check that out again, go to the blog. It's well worth it. Something to do while we're all stuck here locally and can't travel waiting for the 15th. Now, on the weather side of things, when we pull it up, it's pretty cool. We've got smoking hot temperatures now. It's right here. Bear with the load. Okay, and there it is. Now, it just reset, but Wednesday we were seeing almost 25-degree weather here in Vancouver. We're going to see it cool off into the weekend. Now, that may not be as good for getting out on a patio or at least enjoying the outdoors, but for the fishing side of things, that is actually good. We don't want things to get too hot too quickly. Specifically, let's throw it out to Merritt. And when we look at that, you can see it's 30 right now in Merritt. This has caused some problems for the lake fishermen, the guys that are up there and can travel in that direction. You'll see that that has warmed up a lot of the lower elevation interior lakes. We were hearing temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s, and that makes things really challenging. Fish go down deep, there's already a lot of food, and it makes things tough. Now, if your lake is a little higher than that, that's good news. I'd start shifting your gaze to higher elevation lakes, because now is the time to consider that sort of 24 and up. Definitely worth looking at now. They should be perfectly timed when we're gauging off the lakes that were doing so well in the last 2 weeks in sort of that 2019, 2000, 2100 range. Now, what does that do for us locally? Well, we talked about the bass fishing. That's definitely worth looking at. Capilano has another interesting fishery associated with it, and that's the beach fishing. And it's something that if you guys are stuck locally and new to fishing, is kind of cool. It's hard to time. It's not something that you can do every single day, and it's something that you're going to have to spend some skunked days, some no-fish days on to figure out. But at low tides in front of the Capilano, it's worth taking a look for coho right now. I'm going to share a fly with you, and guys are very counterintuitive, meaning you think coho salmon, you might think big clouds or minnows or larger flies that we might use for the late fall season fish, but most of the Capilano fish are fairly small and they focus their diet on shrimp or crab larvae. So the flies we use are very small, and it's actually an area where fly fishermen do quite well because big spoons and spinners, though effective, worth going if you want to get out there. Spoons and spinners in sort of the medium to small size work. The fly fishermen can do really well with flies that really imitate crab or shrimp / euphausids. Andre's got a cool one here. I'm going to share that right here. Check it out on his channel up here. It's worth looking at. Start filling a box. And the fun thing about this is look at this fly and look at sort of its buggy / shrimpiness, and then just get creative. Having a variety of colors and styles, you can get really creative, but basing off this basic design is very useful when fishing the North Shore beaches, as well as a little bit up towards Squamish, and definitely later on as the pink salmon start rolling in. They also feed on similar stuff to these early coho. So check that out. All right, the book. Let's talk about the book first, because the book is way better news than the rant about our lovely fisheries minister. So this is it here. And it is Hatches of British Columbia Trout Streams by Daniel. I'm going to pronounce that name wrong, Daniel. I apologize in advance. I'm just not going to try. Here's the dude here, and he's nailed it. I got this book from the boys at the Ospreys Fly Club. They said, hey, we've got some advanced copies coming in. Do you want to buy one? And I said, absolutely. I wasn't sure if I was going to promote it. I had to read through it a bit and look at it and really understand it, but it sort of gave me exactly what I was hoping for. There's a lot of books on entomology or biology down in the States, all over the world, but never really specific to British Columbia. All the British Columbia stuff is very shotgun effect, very vague. This book goes into detail on specific species and really looks at the life cycles of those specific species. Now, this isn't for a beginner. If you guys are new to river fishing with a fly rod, then I'd probably hold off on this. Get your grounding sorted out when it comes to identifying caddis, identifying mayflies, identifying stoneflies. But if you've got that sort of figured and you really want to understand what you're seeing, what that green one is or what that yellow one is, and when to expect them and when to expect some of their cycles, this book answered a lot of those questions for me, and I know I'm going to be reading it a second, probably even a third time, just to get a feel for it all. So that's this one. We have it in the shop for sale. It is $35.99. Come on down. Again, if you're sort of an intermediate to advanced river fisherman or even a lake fisherman, there's some cool stuff in there for you as well. Definitely recommended. Now, our lovely minister. So this came up. I'm going to link the entire article. I really appreciate these guys. They do a great Vancouver Island publication, and this meme just nails it. I'm going to link to the entire article. It lays it out better than my words can. But here's our fisheries minister, and this nails it. She literally missed the mark. She lost the room. I am concerned about DFO enforcing stuff going forward. And just so you guys know, this was not DFO's doing. DFO specifically made recommendations that supported the science, and the minister disregarded those recommendations. So I want you guys out there to be really respectful of DFO, even if you don't like the decision. And what the decision I'm talking about is the fact that they do not have a marked selective fishery for the many marked fish out there, and they seem to have forgotten that for 2 years, everybody in this industry, as well as everyone that owns a boat and wants to take advantage and enjoy this resource, has been sort of on standby. And now this announcement is going to put that standby on for at least another month or two, depending on what comes down the pipes. We need to support our local fisheries advocacy groups, because other advocacy groups are pushing much harder than we are. Who is that? That's the SFI. That is the Public Fisheries Alliance. Links down in the description. If you love fishing in BC, I can't stress how important this is. It is really becoming a problem. And not just because, yes, I have some business associated with this fishery. We're doing great. We're blessed. We love our shop. Our shop is doing great. You guys are supporting it well. But I got a lot of friends that this fishery is really their breadwinner for them. And unfortunately, they're going to go without for 2 years running, for no better reason than the fisheries minister is playing politics. The SFI had a letter that laid out a response. I want you guys to read it. Bob Zimmer had another great video. I'm going to link that up here right now. Also laying this out, again, better words than me. But if you guys are new to the channel, please check this out. If you're old to the channel, you guys know this. I'm sorry to rant more about it, but I'm really concerned that it is going to affect if you're a lake fisherman in the future, if you're a river fisherman in the future. I see the decisions being made and the management direction taken where science and conservation has nothing to do with the decisions. Something that will be applied to interior lakes, interior rivers, in local river salmon fishing moving forward. And it doesn't paint a good picture for loving the resource, enjoying the resource, protecting the resource. And so get involved, support what you can, and we'll be staying tuned. We are hoping she's going to come out with another announcement, maybe talking about a marked selective fishery in the future. But it's way too little, way too late, and we need to make sure she knows about it. The Liberal government understands that we're not going to accept this. And if you love this fishery, it probably should be something you vote behind in the upcoming election. Well, we nailed it. Talked about Honor's Fly, talked about a great book, depressed us all about the minister. I'm looking forward to the 15th when everyone can get out there and travel. Keep sending the pictures, keep sending the reports. And as always, you want to see more reports like this, consider hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you in 2 weeks.